Welcome back to another supporter stream. We are reporting from the surface of the sun. It's nice and bright out there, but I know most of you guys in the country do not want to hear it, but it's entirely too hot in Arizona right now. So I am just going with the door open, and I know it's light and bright and stuff out there, but hey, maybe we will go ahead and be all right. Thank you for that super chat there, Commodore fan. $10 for the kitty fund. Hey, kitty, you got some money. Maybe I can get some today, too. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's good. I need to get some kitty food. I'm running out. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty well.
I'm doing good. Doing fine.
We have another supporter stream. Definitely an odd time for me to do one. I don't usually do them this early.
Yeah, it's way too late.
But yeah, way too late. Yeah, way too early. I don't know. But anyway, I did want to throw in a few more random streams here and there, and hopefully people that can't catch us at the usual times might be able to jump in. And I do these when we have subjects that I'm like, yeah, you know. Oh, and of course I did not have Forest Cloud Computer. I completely forgot I have titles on this side. So I'm trying to think, should I adjust that or not? Let's not worry about it. Let's just go over to our main topic, and maybe I'll adjust the title on the fly. Maybe the title on the bottom may not be accurate. I completely forgot that's there because I just don't do this enough these days. But anyway, let's see. We got Ivan's on. We got Conrad Fan. Hello, I'm on a tablet again, doing a guilty pleasure night of Red Baron Supreme Pizza. Ooh, I have Greta approved barbecue going right now, folks. So after the live part's over, when we have our off-air supporter hangout, I'm going to go get my barbecue. I got pulled pork, baked beans, and bacon and green beans going on in the solar oven. And it's pretty much done. I just need to get in there and pull it out because it's it all temped. It's all good. So XQE4 Studio, greetings to you. Knowing you know, good evening to you as well. And Damian Babin, hello to you. I don't remember seeing you anyway. So if you are new here, welcome. This is one time the WF is one, but they are probably reasonable. So yeah, we are going to be talking about our main topic here is going to be, you know, it's close to 2030. And if you remember that old prediction from this article here, it's 2030. I own nothing. I have no privacy and life has never been better. I don't know. That just sounds like a dystopian hellhole to me. And they released this back in 2016. Of course, it came out with a Twitter post which went viral. And, you know, they've since taken the post down, but the original article is still here from the World Economic Forum. And everybody and their brother looks at us and goes, oh, that's crazy dystopian. Nobody's going to do that. But, you know, it's 2026. We are 4 years from that. And how close are they getting from making sure that nobody owns anything? If we look down, it's pretty close, isn't it? And that's kind of what my thought is. So, of course, we will look at the article. You guys have some initial thoughts. Are you looking forward to owning nothing and having no privacy?
No, I am not.
Oh, you're not? Really?
No.
I still own a whole lot, so I'm not worried.
Yeah, so, I mean, so it's just like you're not looking forward to your lobotomy, to your forced change, maybe a little bit of a soma, prescribed soma, or, you know, that, what was it in the one movie with Christian Bale, Equilibrium, right, where you have to have your drugs that eliminate all emotion, you know. You're not looking forward to those days? I mean, come on. What's going on? And so, of course, we wanted to talk about this kind of stuff because it carries with it a lot of things that we all look at this on the surface. And I think most people looked at that 10 years ago. This is 10 years ago now. They looked at it 10 years ago. What kind of crazy dystopian world is that? Well, 10 years later, we're having discussions right now. The younger generation doesn't think they'll ever want to buy a house. And if you can, and the 50-year mortgages that have been floated by the Trump administration become a thing, well, you'll never own your house either because like 50 years. Like, right. That's just serfdom. That's not a mortgage. That's serfdom. Right? Serfdom that no one else can move into your shack legally. And then, of course, nobody owns any movies anymore. The streaming services are so convenient and cars are getting so expensive. We're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff. Now, I even noticed one yesterday. You know, LG has a TV subscription now. You can rent your TV from LG instead. We'll get into all that kind of stuff here. But of course, the original post came out, and it's 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say, our city? Oh, that wonderful collectivism! It's working really well in New York, I hear. And more people have died in Mentati administration just from natural causes so far than anything. Who would have thought it? If you don't sweep the streets when it's frozen outside, people might die of hypothermia. All right, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Salve.
Yeah, so you mentioned the TV and subscription. At the second-hand job that I had before moving into this house, we got one of those pay-to-watch TVs from the 1970s, where you rented a TV and you actually had to put coin in order for them to watch. And we made it working, and it came with the coin of the day that was needed to. So that was a fun experiment.
Yeah,
and someone actually bought it.
Yeah, we had coin operated laundromat in the basement of one of the apartments I rented a long time ago, and my neighbors were engineers, and they figured out how to build a little tool allowing you to run it for free. It's built this little engineering device with like basically 4 quarters attached to it, put it in the slot on retractable lines, and it allowed the thing to go in. So quarters are there, and then it retracts out, and then the quarters just come back. I was like, yeah. Okay.
We had in the summer of 1991, between the first and second year of high school, I lived at a dorm housing where they had one of those washing machines, but the coin device was broken. So the owner of the establishment, he had to initiate the cycle. So he had unscrewed the top of the machine. So he just opened the top and pushed a lever, and then it started one side.
Yep. There you go. But back to the article, this guy does not own any appliances. He doesn't even own clothes. Now, Computing Forever talked about this in a little bit more detail that was released one point in time, where everything's so subscription service. You kind of just are out and about in the city, and then you just go into an unoccupied apartment that's not even really yours. And your clothes are dirty, so but you've scanned in with your Mark of the Beast chip or something, and so it knows exactly who you are and what sizes. So you just take off your dirty clothes and take a shower, and then a drone delivers your clean clothes for you. And you don't own any of them, but you don't own any food either. You don't own anything. Of course, in that world, it was curious because that was before like Uber Eats and DoorDash, at least before they were mainstreamed, and they were talking about, you just push this button and food's gonna get delivered, and people are like, what is this crazy nonsense world? where are we now, right? But it says it may seem odd to you, makes perfect sense for us in the city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We had access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives. One by one, all these things became free, so it ended up not making sense for us not to own much. Now, that's the part that they didn't get right, because it's not getting free. In fact, we are seeing for the first time a pushback about this because of how costly things are. One of the articles we'll cover in the Weekly News Roundup, well, perpetually, we haven't gone through all the articles yet, but Crunchyroll got rid of its free tier and now raised the prices up to 25% on everything that's left. And I'm just thinking, yes, I hate anime. So, but for the users that like anime, expect to pay more. But then, of course, everything went up in cost. And so it begs that question, why would you want to live in a world where you don't own anything? If money comes short, your entertainment's probably first on the chopping block. And then, you might actually go back to the old days of the times like my generation. I watched a really cool video the other day, talk about the psychology of Generation X. And I was looking at it going, I have not watched a video so psychologically on point. And one of the principles they made in there is we're the last generation to know what boredom is because we grew up without the internet. And that really is a foundational thing for us. And, what happens when you can't afford your streaming services anymore? Of course, you can always get free stuff on the internet, assuming you don't lose that one. But the thing is that there's a better way. We'll talk about those as we go through. Of course,
first thing about being bored is that many of the inventions that we take for granted today are a result of someone who got bored and then they got an idea because they were bored and wasn't distracted
Correct.
by anything.
And that's possibly why we don't have a lot of good things now, right? Because we are so perpetually not bored that nobody has time to sit down and come up with new ideas. And so they got transportation dropped dramatically in price, made no sense to own cars anymore because we could just call driverless vehicle or a flying car. 2030. We can't even get these things on the road to not crash into things or get completely confused. Like, oh, which one goes first? We don't know. Hey, let's drive through this police standoff. Of course, we covered all those types of things. And so the idea here, of course, is everything is basically a subscription service, but people reacted to this article and went, well, this would never happen. This is insane. I'm not going to subscribe to that, right? But the reality is we are getting that way, right? And so I don't even know where exactly we want to start here. Maybe let's just go ahead and start with some entertainment, right? So LG has a new subscription program charging up to £277 per month to rent a TV. Obviously, this is UK. But is this too far out from where we are? Well, TVs are going down in price, at least here in America. So I don't know. I just think most people could probably get a TV still, especially since everybody throws everything on their credit card or pays Klarna for it anyway. So, I don't know. Now, there's always has been rental services like Aaron's Rental is a common one. There was another one, is it called Rex or Rax or something? One of those was a rental store. One of those was a fast food restaurant. I forget which one's which. All right. But you could go in, and usually, though, that was lower income people. That's usually who they're targeted to. And you would go in and you would rent your furniture or your TV or your computer or whatever else. And you'd pay an exorbitant fee, but it allowed you to have a computer now without having to pay for it right out of the gate, right? And so, but we're seeing more cases where hardware itself might become a lot more subscription based. So is that what you were talking about, Salbu, where you had a TV that you had to pay for? Was that something in your house, or was that something in the lobby, or what?
It was in our homes. So for people who couldn't afford to shell out for the TV then and there, because back then, at least in Scandinavia, there were no such thing as a credit card. So you paid in cash for, and if you couldn't afford it, an option was to have a TV put in your home where you have to insert coins. And it was valid for a certain amount of hours. I don't remember the timing. But
did you have to pay a regular fee to have that TV in the house in addition to putting quarters in?
No.
Okay, so it's just there, basically free, but you could watch TV for a couple quarters. So basically, turns your house into one of those sleazy hotel rooms, right, where you got to put a quarter in for everything.
And every a few times a month, maybe once a month, I don't remember, because we didn't have this, but I have heard stories of other people who had it. There were people who came regularly and emptied the coins from the inside.
Yeah. Then, of course, they're checking on your TV and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's an interesting take on this, but we might get to the point where we do see television subscriptions as people are maxed out in their credit and then maxed out in their buy now, pay laters, which of course are slowly getting rolled into your credit reporting services, which is also interesting because if you want that optimal credit score, you should not live your life for the credit score. But if you do, you might actually have to use Klarna. Like, I can't get my credit score any higher. How? Well, we notice you haven't used any buy now, pay later loan services. You should use some of those, and then your credit will go a little higher. Like, no, I'd rather not. I'd have a lower score, but
give people incentives
to go broke. Yeah. But there's your television subscriptions. Of course, not to be outdone, here's Jeff Bezos. This came out a couple weeks ago. Jeff Bezos, in response, of course, all the RAM coming out and the prices are going up. Of course, Raspberry Pi now is raising its prices for the second time in a few months because of massively increased RAM prices. And nearly every RAM company has already sold out of their saleable inventory for 2026. So yeah, new computers are going to get tremendously expensive. And so Jeff Bezos looks at us going, hey, don't worry guys, you don't need that. You can just rent your PC from the cloud. So now, of course, you get one of these just small little boxes that has, a good enough GPU or something. And of course, as soon as everybody has gigabit Ethernet, which is, not necessarily a good guess, but the idea here is that, you can just rent your PC from the cloud. You do not need to worry about that expensive piece of hardware. You just rent that thing. And so now are we getting into a world where you can't even own a computer anymore? Will people like me be considered, accused of, you're just stealing inventory. You have too many computers, man. Like, shut up.
The interesting thing about this phenomenon, this new phenomenon that he is describing, is that in order to rent a computer, you have to have a computer in order to access the computer you're renting.
Well, that is true, but it can be a much lower spec computer. So if you remember Microsoft, we covered the story a while back when Microsoft has a new device, which is mostly right now targeted towards business. But the idea of the device is you get this computer and it's basically runs a streamlined embedded Microsoft operating system that serves no other purpose to connect it to the internet and then collect it to a cloud-based computer, which is even more terrifying because now you truly don't own any of your data. Not that you really did before if you're on Windows, but that is really what the goal is here is, hey, you can't own your computers and you can't own your clothes or your television or your appliances. I mean, it feels like we're renting our appliances these days. You buy a new washing machine and it breaks within a few years. Remember that time when you're like, my mother, I think, still has the washing machine from like 30 or 40 years ago, try getting one now that lasts more than 5. It'd be quite amazing because it's like everything's all integrated and computerized and download our app. Like, no, gonna download your
I remember in 2001, a documentary came out called The Corporation, where they talked about how corporations have changed over the years to serve the shareholders and not the community and so on. And one of the people that they interviewed in this documentary was someone living in the former East Germany, because East Germany was on a blockade list from the Western world. They manufactured in their country the various appliances that they wanted, including fridges. And they had a requirement that any fridge needed to last at least 25 years. And he had a fridge that he bought, that he bought 30 years ago at the time of this documentary, I believe. And the original light bulb inside still worked.
Yeah. I guess that would be. I guess that'd be one of those things, right? Yeah. So, of course, now the big one is streaming services. So, you won't own your TV, you won't own your computer. Now let's talk about your streaming services. So I found a number of different articles. There was a Reddit post I almost included here, but I like this how-to geek reason, 5 reasons why I'm ready to say goodbye to video streaming services. This is from July of last year. And these are 5 really good reasons for getting rid of your subscription services. And the thing is that Netflix and all these other subscription services that came out after it has really damaged physical media for a period of time, but people are starting to do a pushback against it now. Unfortunately, people are turning back to piracy, which is kind of sad. I'd like them to turn back to buying physical media again, because that would mean that we would actually, it would secure the physical media market. But there was a case, and I wasn't able to find any updates, but there was a case over a decade ago where, was it Sony or somebody was trying to sue to basically say you can't make even a backup of your movies at all. And I wasn't able to find where that case happened to go after that. But 5 reasons here why people might be ditching their streaming services. One is they are getting more expensive. As I said, Crunchyroll is going up in price. Every streaming service, we covered an article that a report came out at the end of 2025 showing streaming services over that year of 2025 went up. I think it was like 25 or 30%. And that's a lot of money to go up on something that is effectively a non-necessity entertainment-based thing, especially in an economy that is being crunched. And if it gets down to the point where you have to eat Crunchyrolls or watch Crunchyroll, you probably want to eat Crunchyrolls so the grocery store gets the budget. And that's kind of the same thing that you're going with is, it's as all of your costs of things go up. Now, I did talk before about, I don't think these food prices are going up nearly as high as we see videos and memes about. Partially, I don't buy pre-processed, pre-packaged food, but I also haven't noticed this massive rise in prices either. And I am obviously the one that does the grocery shopping around here. And I've traveled to stores all around the country, and some things have gone up in price. For the most part, most things have not. Most things have stayed pretty still for the last 5 years. Now, we did get a boost 5 years ago, but things have stayed pretty steady from there. The one thing I've seen fluctuate, meats fluctuate, but for the most part, those have been fairly static. I've seen eggs fluctuate a lot. I just bought a dozen eggs in Arizona for $1.30 for a dozen. Of course, a mainstream grocery store, you might be paying $9 a dozen. I have no idea why. But coffee. Okay, you mentioned coffee there. I have had coffee go up. No, I don't buy a lot of milk, but I don't know if that has gone up. Now, milk is artificially high. Beef, I have not noticed it going up a lot. Little bit, but not a lot. Eggs are not going up. No. It completely depends on the thing about the eggs too is the eggs cycle. They go more expensive and less expensive throughout the year because the egg market is susceptible to the bird flu epidemics. And so you'll see those go up, but then they'll usually come back down. Coffee is the only one you're mentioning on the list here that I have actually seen gone up. You're right about coffee. That has gone up. But more other things. Algorithms are too biased. And he makes a very good point here that you watch something like, oh, you like this type of show. And you might have a broad interest. And I'm the same way. I have a broad interest in shows and music and things like that. And I don't want to watch one show and then be shown nothing but that show or shows like that show. I want a variety. And the algorithms, he says, are too biased. You watch something and that just filters you in this thing. And you might even forget about some of the other things that you might like to watch, or it's just not promoting it or makes it harder to find because they're trying to do this algorithm stuff. And I just think we need to ban algorithms in general. Just stop all algorithms, or at least have an option to turn them off. So that I can choose, do I get an algorithm or do I choose to get a direct feed? Obviously, there are numerous free streaming services. So depending on what you're looking for, you might be able to find what you're looking for free. Of course, these are generally ad supported that may or may not be blocked by ad blockers. So just think about that a little bit. But at the same time, there are free streaming services that, especially if you're used to watching ads anyway, because Netflix still shows ads and everything but the most premium tiers. If you're gonna watch Rocky here with ads, you may as well watch it for free rather than paying Netflix a bunch of money. And then there's other options. There's also there are still antennas you can buy and plug into a TV. We were actually looking at ways that you could do that into a monitor as well, and such things exist. So there's always that. And then this one here is where a lot of people are at. A lot of people are growing their physical collection again. They've looked down and realized that if they can't keep watching their favorite movie, it's problematic for them. And so people are going back and buying real physical media again. And
especially if they have bought a movie or a show and then it disappears down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is correct. And the thing about the physical movie collection is some of them can be expensive if you buy them brand new, but some of them, like, there's still a lot of markets. In fact, I wish I had more money with me, but I was just down at the open air markets in Quartzsite just before the big tent show, the RV show down there. And there was a new guy down there that had thousands and thousands of movies. I ended up buying seasons 1 through 5 of Bones and one other movie, and I paid $19. Okay, that's going to keep me occupied for a long time. It did take me 6 months to go through Breaking Bad, which I bought the complete season, the complete archive of it for $50. And so you look around, you can find them. I've had some good luck getting used movies on Amazon as well. Although occasionally, I think I've gotten 1 or 2 movies that were bootleg garbage. I did ship back. But even if you send me bootleg garbage, as long as it's a movie and I can, watch it, I don't care if it's bootleg, and I've paid for it. So you don't look at me, officer. Here's the receipt. Go look at this guy on Amazon. Good luck. But buying, I've done that. But thrift stores, Goodwills have a lot of them. Garage sales, all sorts of places to still grow a physical media collection without spending a lot. And then, of course, the last point, viewing habits are changing. Some people just like, hey, I don't want to sit here and watch movies all the time. I want to, go outside into the surface of the sun and pound sand a little bit, or cactus. I don't want to pound cactus, though. That hurts my knuckles. But the thing is that you start talking about things like, grow your physical collection and maybe spin up a jellyfin server or something. And people are like, oh, I don't know, man, that could be a lot of work. That could be difficult. That could be, name your pain point. And this is how the elites are winning. This is how they are getting you to own nothing by 2030. I don't want to own all those movies. It's just so easy to do it on Netflix. Well, now they've just cut you off for your movies. Oh, it's so expensive. And I can just rent one. So there goes your computers. Let's not forget about your cars. And I have 2 articles here. Let's look at Tesla first. This one's just subscription-based services. So Tesla used to sell the cars with the full self-driving feature enabled, and now they're not. They're just like, no, we're getting rid of that. It's going to be a $99 a month subscription if you want that. So did you just want to say anything about the physical media and stuff? I forgot to chime in there.
Yeah, I was this guy had a photo of at least part of his collection. And I just scanned it, and I have 3 of the movies he have. So the vast majority.
Just 3?
Yeah.
Right, let me see what I got here.
So he has Alien, Bruce Almighty, and 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later. Those are the 3 movies that I have.
Oh yeah, I mean I have a lot of these actually. Let me pull my microphone off here so I can look closer at the screen like a weirdo. Let's see. I have Avatar, I have Alien, I have 28 Days Later. Let's see. I have the Harry Potter movies. I have Yes Man. And of course, some of these I can't read exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't have the Child's Plays. I used to have the Child's Plays, but I don't anymore. Of the ones I can read, those are the ones that I have. So, Ivan, do you want to chime in on this?
I can't read that. I mean, it's like, I've got a very small physical collection of DVDs and stuff like that. I've got some other stuff that's sitting on a hard drive, but it's like, I mean, and for me, it's space is a premium here because it's just a small condo the size of an apartment, small one. But it's like, I've got this stuff, and it's like, I don't necessarily need to have all of these services that are somewhere else, where all the media is somewhere else and piped into my device here, whether it be on this screen or over on that screen. Definitely not on a phone. Phone's for communication, not for watching Little Miss Muffet,
But she sat on a what is she sit on?
The Tuffet.
Tuffet? Okay. Whatever that is. I was thinking it was Tuffet. Like, what the hell's a Tuffet? I don't know. Well, let's address that real quick, though, too. If you're like, oh, man, I don't have a room for all these, or you don't want to display them all like this, what I actually do is still on Amazon for like $15-20, you can buy a CD case with a capacity to hold 400 discs. And so I just throw away the cases and keep the discs and the CD binders. So I got like 4 of them, I think.
It saves a lot of space doing it that way.
Tons of space. I have all the movies I have inside of, I think I have one standard size bin, and then there's a little bit of overflow, but I do not have a lot. And there's some that I've kept the boxes for things that were significant. Like I got when E.T. came out with a 20th anniversary edition in a special box, I saved that box. Things like that. So
save the ones that are worth it.
Yeah. So back onto Tesla, though, and cars. Of course, part of this is dealing with the subscriptions of cars. Can we even buy a car anymore and own the car? No, you got to buy the car for an outrageous amount of money and then continue to pay subscriptions for all of the features in the car. How long before you have to buy the car for $30,000 and then pay a subscription to put the key in the ignition? Sorry, you're
or to keep air in the tires.
Yeah, but while we get onto the costs, I want to jump over here because when I had thrown this topic out last night to say, hey, we might want to do this, and then and I had all these articles pinned down, and I was like, hey, I remember Lyft had some articles a while ago trying to do some propaganda about how it's so much cheaper to just use ride sharing. You don't need to own a car; it's too expensive. I'm like, I got to go find one of those articles, and I didn't have to look too far because they just gave me a brand new blog post in January 27th. Like a week ago. That's awesome. Thank you, Lyft. The real cost of getting around in 2026, rideshare versus car ownership. Of course, it paints this whole thing that to remember when owning a car felt like freedom. That freedom comes with a hefty price tag, record high insurance rates, $4+ gas. Oh, get out of the city. All right. And the average new car payment hitting $748 per month on top of the hidden costs of car ownership like repairs and fees and parking. Americans are discovering that buying a car isn't the obvious choice, and it used to be. Well, first, let's address the elephant in the room. You're talking specifically to people in a city, and most people in America are not actually in cities. Obviously, those that are, it may not make a lot of sense to own a car in a city, but that was the case before ride sharing existed as well. There's a place for ride sharing. A friend of mine's out traveling for work, and he's using Uber just to get around the city because he flew into the city. He'll be there for a few days, and he wants to go somewhere. He can use ride sharing. Of course, he could use public transportation or a taxi or something too, but the ride sharing is the more elegant way of doing it. Blah, 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 and so let's address the elephant in the room that first and foremost, this is talking about in cities. Like they actually have a system parking $20 to $570 per month. Where the hell are you parking? It's like, obviously, if you're in a city, parking is a premium, and sure, that's the case. But I'm trying to remember the last time I legitimately had to pay to park somewhere. I just cannot legitimately remember. Maybe when I went to Hershey like 5 years ago. I went to Hershey Park 5 years ago. I think they had a parking fee, but I think the tickets we bought included it. I can't remember that one. of course, they're like, and your tickets. Well, don't break the law, moron. Okay. But let's address the car payment stuff. First and foremost, I think right now people have this center of the universe syndrome, or is it main character syndrome, I think they call it. And they always want the latest and the greatest. So sure, there are cars out there with $748 a month car payments. Stop buying expensive cars that you can't afford. You know what I mean? Like, when I bought the van here, it was the first time I had a car payment in years because it was kind of doubling as my house as well. And I was paying less for that than I was for apartments. And even that, I paid off within a few years. But even the van, I think I was around $750 for my home on wheels. All right. But you can still find cars. You can still find a lot of cars that are not going to cost you $750 a month in payments. You just have to do a little bit of thing called research and deal with an ugly car that may not be your ideal car. But what are you, a mainstream Hollywood movie star? Of course you think you are if you got main character syndrome. Suck it up, Buttercup. Buy something you can afford.
Yeah, and buy a used car, like 5-year-old car.
Yeah.
They are more than good enough for most people.
Correct. Yeah. They are good. They are reasonable in cost. They will work just fine. And they're not going to cost you this month. The average new car loan is $69. Stop being average. But this is one of the things that they got us with in this 2030 article is they have convinced us it's not about how much we pay for something. It's about how much per month we pay for something. Like Dave Ramsey used to say this a lot. You know, the average person walks around saying, how much is the payment? To talk about affordability. Whereas the wealthier person says, how much is that so I can buy it? Because if you know what an amortization schedule is and you punch it out, a $30,000 car right now with an average loan averaging around 8% or so for a regular car loan, I think you're looking at paying $40,000 to $50,000 in that car. But too many people jump from car payment to car payment. In fact, one of the places I lived, they had a government assisted housing next door. So I had a next door neighbor's welfare lady, and she's driving around in this car much nicer than mine because she's got payments on it. And I was talking to her one day. Yeah, I just paid off my car. I'm thinking about going down and getting another one. Why? You've paid off your car. It's in good shape. Doesn't have any problems. Don't do stupid stuff like that. You know. They mention here insurance, $195 per month. Stop paying for your insurance per month. You do know that you pay about 5% more if you pay for your insurance per month, right? Create a little savings account called the sinking fund and throw extra money in there that you would be paying on your car insurance, and then pay your insurance in one lump sum when it comes due. You'll pay 5% less. These are not rocket science things, but they're things we just don't think about because we're sitting here going, oh man, look at how expensive this is. How much per month? And we live month per month to month payments. I look down at my expenses sometimes and I'm like, did I pay everything this month? Oh yeah, I don't have any bills. Okay, live like that. And it's a lot less stressful, and then you don't force yourself into these expensive car payments and things like that.
So to use me as an example, for those viewers who don't know, I live in Norway, which, surprise, surprise, is not in America. So I pay maybe $105 a month for my. So I have a. So I have a mortgage on my house, which I use to buy my car, and I pay $105 a month, which is all I pay. And then I have insurance, which is $500 a quarter or something.
Yeah, like in America, most personal insurances are every 6 months. I don't know how it is out there. Mine's commercial, so mine's once a year I pay
Yeah, there is several options you can choose from. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the default is for 4 times a year,
Yeah.
so
And
every 3 months.
$75 a month for oil changes, tires, brakes, and then there's the unexpected repair.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable actually.
I don't know. I'm thinking that sounds high to me. Hold on. Let me run this out. Ivan, if you have any thoughts while I find my calculator.
Actually, I'm talking to Mythos right now. He was wondering if we were going live, and I'm just, yeah, going live. He's like, oh, this place is a mess. Well, I guess no dinner for me.
Well, tell him we're live already. So
I don't know if he's going to be jumping on.
Okay, let's say I buy a new set of tires, which I can let me just conservatively say 1,000. I usually pay closer to 200 per tire, but let's say 250 per tire. I do usually 2 oil changes because that's all the time the vehicle says. And if I do it myself, it's a lot cheaper, but I'm just going to put that in at $100. Brakes, you shouldn't need, if you're driving your car appropriately, you shouldn't need to do brakes more than once every 3 years or so. And so I'm not even going to include those yet. So I guess that sounds a sinking fund of $75 a month. That does sound actually pretty good. Okay, I was thinking that was high, but I think that sounds pretty good.
What I do is I have a separate account that I only have for expenses related to the car and insurance, and I put in $400 each month into that account, and that accumulates over the course of 12 months. So when something does happen and a big repair bill is due, I have money for it at all times.
Yeah. And then notice this paragraph here. Let alone the fact that your car loses 10% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot, and then it keeps depreciating 20% in the first year. Okay, now Lyft, let's see a little bit of integrity on your behalf and show us what it looks like when an insane person buys a used car. Because this whole calculation, it costs between $11,000 and $20,000 annual cost for a car. If you're a retard and you buy a brand new car off the lot, stop being stupid.
And my personal opinion is that they do cars do lose their value as soon as you drive off the lot. But my personal, very strong opinion is that this is an unjust calculation, because you only lose that money if you sell the car. And only then,
that is true. If you sell the car, yes, that is true. However, if you take the same exact car, a model 3 years later than the one you bought new, it is infinitely cheaper to buy. And let's not forget that oftentimes new cars have quirks. The 3-year-old car likely has had all of the quirks worked out of it. So if I would say a 2 or 3-year-old car is definitely a better purchase. In fact, nobody should be buying a new car unless they have a very high net worth. But too many people with main character syndrome want to jump in and be like, oh, look at my brand new Mercedes Escalade. This job market's so bad. I can't afford anything. Stop being a retard.
And then you've got these certified pre-owned, and so they're like, they want to make as much money as they want or that they can get. So they're going to sell something that's actually in pretty decent shape, and then they market it and stuff like that. And next thing you know, it's like as if it's like a brand new car. So it's like, hey, it's a brand new car again.
Yeah. And so here's the Rideshare alternative. Look at what you should do. Let's see. Daily commuters, $1,400 a month. Okay. I don't want to pay $1,000 a month to Lyft. Sounds really great, though, for the company owning all the cars, right? Sounds great. Supposing $10, $20 work rides, $15 other rides each week. Hybrid users, $640 a month using Rideshare with public transit or occasional walking. $20 work rides, 15 each other rides. Okay. Weekend warriors, $480 a month using Lyft for social activities, errands, and airport runs. Oh, Lord. So here's what you don't pay for: insurance premiums, maintenance, parking fees, tickets, gas, appreciation, lodges, DMV visits.
Yeah, the one that got me was gas.
What? What? You don't pay for gas? No
Yeah.
kidding. Duh. DMV visits. What? No. Like first, that like $10 every 5 years is just killing my budget.
Yeah.
Winter tires or oil changes. Yeah, okay. Good old fashioned all season tires work well for most people. Yeah. The hidden benefit nobody talks about. Time is money. Working $30 per hour, that's $10,000 in potential income. You are not going to get work done driving in your Lyft car. Okay, you're not doing it. Relaxing and reducing stress. I don't know. I would have a lot of stress and anxiety if I didn't have a vehicle and I was dependent on some person to come pick me up if I legitimately had to go somewhere right now, you know. Catching up on emails and calls with friends or episodes of your favorite podcast. Wonderful. And so here's your 30-day challenge. Not ready to go with your car? Try this. Week 1 or 2, use Lyft for all evening and weekend activities. Week 3, add Lyft for your daily commute. Week 4, calculate how much you actually used your car outside of rideshare. You might just discover you don't need a second car or even realize your primary car was
And then there is the catching up on emails and the calling friends.
You must be calling them for rides because, you know.
Yeah, or the time of day where this is going to be most useful, according to the article, is driving to and from work.
Yeah.
And you are going to call your friends who are also driving to and from work.
No, they're all just riding together in their separate ride shares. So now your Lyft driver has to listen to both of you yelling back and forth about all the nonsense.
And my car has this invention that apparently it's so secret, it's classified or something. There is this, it comes with the car. I just hook up using Bluetooth.
Wow!
And then it connects to my phone, and I can talk to. So my phone still is in my pocket or in my backpack or in the booth or wherever, and I can still talk to them using another invention. It's called a microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would never tie my phone into my car in America because the amount of data they pull off of your vehicles, man, is crazy.
Yeah.
You live in a place that actually has regulation about such things, so.
Yeah, but then there is most phones still have, although they are not as popular, you can actually get a wire, that physical wire that connects to your phone that you plug into your ear, and it has a microphone. So there are ways to do this.
Yeah, I just use the Bluetooth headsets. Of course, now there are smart ways to maximize your rideshare budget. Hey, go with our monthly subscription service. So more subscriptions. Are you guys excited about that? So there we have it. There's a bunch of discussions there about all the various ways that we are giving it up. Because why would you possibly own a car? I mean, you don't need to own a car. That's crazy, you know. And that really is the thing that we want to recall is how kind of crazy it is. So I'm going to fix the title so I can jump back to the main screen here. If you guys want to look at a couple of comments and respond to a few of those, and I'll be over there in just a moment. Let's see. Hey, and that guy showed up. Greetings, that guy. Would you actually, before we do that guy, would you like to give us your thoughts about owning nothing and things like this and all the streaming services and things? I don't know if you caught most of the show or not, but
I did not.
Okay. Well, you can give us your thoughts anyway on what do you still own versus what have you given up to a subscription service.
What I've given up is pretty much anything I have no control over. Cars, for example, you really don't have any control over it. Yeah, I could go buy an old, 90s car, 2000s car, but...
Salomon on the YouTube chat has interesting... this is extortion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Michael, yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Here's the thing. Like, I have not done the supporter stream for so long. I can't remember exactly where this title goes. I think I found it. Hold on. Did I find it?
I just wasn't ready.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I had
We're
the wrong
we're
one.
early and we're at an odd time, so
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Let me do that. I just need
And
to.
Commodore is saying, I'm so close to my work I can walk or drive my golf cart, but the golf cart is almost worn out and needs to be replaced. It's been overhauled 10 times now.
There you
Over
go.
30 years old, and it's on the hunt for one.
Yeah. Night of Light says, I would stay away from mortgages. You will always be in debt to banks. Better to save and then buy something cheap. Christian's not supposed to be in debt. Yeah, I mean, it's for sure a Christian should minimize debt. It's not specifically a sin to go into debt, but it is highly recommended to not do it. If you do need to bounce off of a mortgage or something, make sure it's something that you're not keeping around forever. Just do something that you can do and pay it off as quick as you can. But yeah, and most things you should not be going into debt for. I would meet you there for sure. And I would say, yeah, Christians probably should not go into debt at all. There are not just that verse in Romans, but several verses which would warn against it. But at the same time, there are some things that you don't have a ton of choice. And things like the real estate market is generally good enough that you could do a reasonable mortgage and not be tied to it perpetually. And so that's kind of what my thought process is on that one there. So let's see, and let's go back up to. I'm going to go back up to. Actually, let me check over on Rumble. No, Joey Blowy's over there on Rumble. Greetings to you. Yeah. And Ivan's over there alone on Odyssey. That's all I see. Okay, back to YouTube it is.
Yeah, I'm going to end up crying or something. I'm sad.
Guys, Ivan's alone, guys. Come on.
Show me some love, please.
Yeah.
XG4 said a little earlier that he will buy a CD drive for his laptop so he can own his music again. I still have every CD I've ever bought. I still have in my house. They are stored away in boxes, obviously, but they're all except for 4 that couldn't be read. They are on my computers.
Mm-hmm.
Gremlins.
All right, let's see what we got down here.
I started buying more DVDs and stuff like that so I could own it.
Yeah.
The only format I'm buying music is in physical format. I have only once bought the digital, and even then I knew I could download a zip file with MP3 from the record company that sold it. And that was a one-time exception. It didn't exist on CD, but I insist on a physical format, or I'm not paying for it.
Yeah, there you go. Commodore Fan reminds us NVIDIA's been trying to get people to rent their gaming GPU on servers with limited usage time. I just paid an arm, a leg, and a little bit of blood plasma for this GPU. Now I have to fork out a subscription service to use it.
Yeah.
Old O2 F-150 Super Crew cab in the driveway. Former coworker saw me in it a few years ago and asked, "Why do I have that old thing?" I said, "It's paid for and it works." That's right. And cook everything myself. Put the food in the lunchbox. Yep. Good. I'm sorry.
And Code 2610 says that his car became an adult last year.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I remember when I was I was in my second year of being a college professor, and I roll into there with my old Buick LeSabre, right? And my boss was like, "Why are you still driving that thing?" It's like it works. Well, other than the muffler just fell off, but actually no, the brake lines fell off, but. He was more poking fun. He actually made a deal with his wife. He would greatly reduce the expenses in the bill in the house if he was able to build all the tools to build his garage. So he had a huge car garage. We actually took that old Buick to his driveway, tore out the brake line, and actually rebuilt the brake lines in it. So it was fun. And I had a second car. I had picked up a second one around then. So I had that, but then we went ahead and fixed that, and I had that car for another 5 years after that.
Yeah, so I in 2010, me and my half sister, we inherited our father who passed away. So we just sold his flat and just told the realtor to just split the money between us. And then I used that to buy a car, and it was the first car that I had for more than 2 years. I had it for 5 years, and then I replaced it with another one, which was a Kia, and I had that for 9 years. And then I bought my current car in September of 24. All those three were were used cars. So the first one I bought from my mother, and because it was me, they didn't bother finding out what the market value was. They just set up. We had just agreed on a price.
Yeah.
And the Kia I had to replace because Rust was taking its toll, and I had that for 9 years. And it was 8 or 9 years when I bought it, and it had just went out of warranty. So the Kia in Norway have a 7 year or 9 year warranty on their cars.
Don't worry. If you come to the States, you'll have everybody and their brothers going to be calling you, telling you, reminding you about your warranty going out.
Yeah, it doesn't happen here.
Okay.
So,
all right. XGUI
4. And the current car that I bought, it was 10 years old, so it will be 12 years this summer, and I have and I have plans to use it for many more years to come, maybe 10 or 15 years still. So.
XGUI 4 does not have the money or hardware to go outside of streaming services or privacy. I think part of it, like the hardware stuff, I'd need to see the setup to know for sure, because I bet if you have any computer at all, you do have the hardware. Because you can go and for less than the cost of a monthly streaming service, you can get a portable DVD drive. And as far as outside of streaming services, again, for the money you spend on streaming services, you could take that same money, go to a Goodwill or a thrift store of some form. You could pick up a dozen movies or TV shows and watch them locally. So I bet you probably do have a little bit more. Their beef is weak, our beef is beautiful. Real quote. That's frightening. Okay. Yeah. It's not over now for CDs and DVDs. There has been a comeback. And I actually ask pretty much everybody that sells used stores, used DVDs and stuff, everybody agrees it is coming back. Their sales are going up. Because many people, like, I am not going to be pirating movies. I'm not going to do it. And so I look for those avenues. I have a giant list of movies I'm always looking for. I carry that list. It's on my Nextcloud. So if I have my phone with me, I can always pull it up. I pop into a thrift store. In fact, this weekend, I'm going to go into town. I need to do laundry. There's 2 thrift stores next to the laundromat I'm going to. I'm going to be going into both of those places and seeing what I can find.
There you go.
There's I think there's 3 thrift stores, but I'm going to go to the Goodwill, and there's a really huge one that I had really good luck finding stuff a couple years ago when I was there. So,
yeah, I have a friend who he used we attended the same church, and then he had to move back home because he couldn't get a student loan for more than 4 years. They're cheap loans, but. So he couldn't get any more because he had been studying for too long. So he started commuting 4 hours every now and then. And then he came with a printout of every CD he had. So he had a CD archive in a spreadsheet in MS-DOS back in the day. So this was in the 90s. And so whenever he visited me in my city, he had this printout. And he went to used CD stores and antique stores and so on that had really old or second-hand CDs and so on. And when he saw an artist that he wanted, he always checked check the list, and he always bought between 20 and 40 CDs each time.
Yeah.
And he used, and I remember he used to leave behind the printout when he for me when he left, because the printout was no longer accurate.
Cody, aka Lamer, says, I've been buying CDs more and made my own music streaming service with Navidrome. I've not heard of that one. Hey, Ivan, can you ping me that name, Navidrome? Ping that to me on Discord, or on Discord. Blech. I don't use that crap. Matrix.
Navidrome, okay.
Yeah, never heard of that. So I'd like to look at that.
I've heard the name.
Fire department instant espresso packages have not gone up at all. That's because they made all the instant coffee in the world like 30 years ago. Come on. Been thrifting movies on Blu-ray for years. Yeah, there you go. It's like popping in a physical disc into the Blu-ray. Yeah, there you go. Even get the previews. You know. Only ads I might watch. It's kind of funny because right before I moved into the van, right, I was looking for some movies. There was one movie I wanted that was never made on DVD, so I actually bought in 2021. I actually bought a VHS copy of it. Got a VHS copy shipped to my post office box. Throw it into my capture card to digitalize it. And one of the previews on that is a movie's like, that looks like a really good movie. So I ended up buying that on DVD, and it was a really good movie. So, like, previews.
Yeah, so
Only ads I watch.
I googled the Navidrome, and it's a free software solution, GPL3 licensed. It's a web-based server streamer thing, and they even have a live demo that people can try.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Maybe it's a video idea.
Yeah.
All right. That's right. I have a tablet. Don't use anymore because it's an iPad. Not possible to change the OS to Linux. I just watch YouTube. I mean, if I had an iPad, I might still find some use for it. But that's actually why I got the Pixel tab, so I can put Graphene OS on it. Blu-ray. I just want to watch them in the media in the big room on the TV. There you go. Yeah. 20-year mortgage used to be the norm. Now that's a 30-year. Yeah, I don't remember the 20 years. Of course, they did the 15 years, and then they boosted to the 30 years to hopefully get things down. And now they're floating that 50, which is that's just serfdom. Come on. One step removed from slavery. And it doesn't save you. It doesn't save you more than like 50 or so bucks a month on payments. But the end result is the bank makes like twice as much money on interest.
Yep.
Brian DeLanger did an excellent video topic. Yeah, on debt. Yeah, I'm familiar with it. So, let's see. A bad one to go out thrifting about picking up tech I may or may not use right away, like keyboards. I'll tell you, if I could find a few more of these ones, I would love more of these keyboards. What is this? The K360s. They're excellent. I'm down to. I have this one, and I think I have one more functioning one in my storage unit.
I remember I used to have. I only realized this later, but I used to have an original IBM keyboard from the 1980s. They were very loud because they click very loudly when you type on them. And at some point I upgraded them because I got tired of the noise and I threw it away. And then 5 years later I learned that you could sell them for quite a good amount of money.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the ones that make a lot of noise. I think we hit the bottom of our comments, so I think we are going to jump off. Of course, we do have our live weekly. Oh, we have Wanton Head Rex jumped on over on Odyssey, or excuse me, on Rumble. Your CDs will delaminate within 30 years. I don't know if I agree with that. I have most of the CDs I have had for 30 years. I think I've only bought I probably only bought 5 or 10 CDs in the last 20 years. Let's see. The last time I bought any large amount of CDs would have been college, and that would have been the 90s. Okay? They are all fine. By the way. Yeah. Oh, is that your binders? Binder of CDs? Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Is that the 400 capacity binder?
200.
200. Okay, yeah, that looked a little thinner. Yeah, I have 3 or 4 of the 400 capacity binders.
I like the one's comment about you say pirate. I say that I have a very liberal interpretation of fair use.
Yeah.
There's a Slackware 9.0.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice, very good. I might still have an Ubuntu 12 floating around somewhere. I know actually I still have install disks for Windows 95 and Windows 98. I know I have those. Yeah, you say pirate, I say yeah. I like that. That is
Windows
good.
2K.
Sleeping. I think we need to see some of these legislations come out about those.
Yeah.
VCR beta tape hold up pretty well. Yeah, they just don't have the best quality as a problem. So
Windows 98 SE.
oh, you got it. Nice. Now, if you got Windows Millennium, man, we need to talk. I might want to get me that.
Beta's quality is
think
No,
you're
that I'm
gonna
going to
find
admit.
that anywhere. If I had it, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think Microsoft should combine the Windows CE, ME, and NT, and then they could release Windows Cement.
This meant something back in 2000.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I think we have now hit the bottom of our comments. So
Yeah.
we will wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and we will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the weekly news roundup.